Good morning, all of you. In this session, we are going to discuss about CSIR NET JRF Chemical Science, June 2018 SETIA question paper. In this, we are going to cover entire part B, including organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, and also physical chemistry. So, entire question paper of Chemical Science June 2018 SETIA question paper of part B will be covered in this session. Before entering into that, I would like to give a small quotation which is prepared by myself. Mandate, manifest, memorize, measure your ideas in many folds to achieve the milestones. Wait a moment to get your turn to experience the miracles of marvelous life. Okay, so we have to have the patience and also collect all our strength in order to get whatever we require. So let us enter into our topic, that is CSIR Chemical Science June 2018 entire solved question paper of part B, right? In this, first question will be dinuclear anion I2OH taken twice, oxygen 8 whole minus 4 has two bridging oxo groups. The geometry and around the iodine is, right? Whenever this complex was taken, what is the arrangement of all these ligands around central iodine we have to manifest. In this complex, each iodine is surrounded by oxygens and also two hydroxy functional groups are making a bridging. Okay, so in this, all ligands are oriented in the regular octahedral corners around this iodine. Hence, we can say it is a simple octahedral structure. This is about the structural representation, and as mentioned in the problem, so two oxo ligands will be there. These two are the bridging ligands which are connecting to iodines. Okay, the structure will be regular octahedral. Now let us move on to question number 22. Using a double beam UV visible spectrophotometer, Beer's law fails for potassium dichromate solution when? Okay, so UV visible spectrophotometer, so this compound is not measured, this compound is not observed, signals will not be given. When it will be possible? In general, it will give the signals in UV visible spectrophotometer. So, but when we are applying only one type of condition, then only the possibility is not there. UV visible spectrophotometer will not give any signal for this potassium permanganate. So the compulsory condition is, in order to give the spectrum for potassium dichromate, pH should be maintained at 4. Constant pH is required. When we are maintaining pH 4, then only it is possible to apply Lambert-Beer's law, and UV visible spectrum will be given for this potassium dichromate. So according to given option, pH is not kept the same in all measurements. If not, pH is not constant, what happens? So here UV visible spectrometer will not give any signal for this potassium dichromate. The correct option will be option number 4. What is the answer? pH should be maintained at 4, then only it will give the signal. If pH is varied, that will not give any signal in this electronic spectroscopy, right? So for question number 22, option 4 will be the right answer. Now, let us move on to question number 23. Trivalent lanthanide ion having isotropic magnetic susceptibility. Magnetic susceptibility stands for whenever external magnetic field is applied, how much degree of magnetization is possible, how extent that molecule is magnetized, that is called magnetic susceptibility. If magnetic susceptibility is same in all possible directions, this is called isotropic magnetic susceptibility. If we are change the direction or orientation of the molecule, its a magnetic susceptibility varies, that is called anisotropic. What they mentioned? Isotropic magnetic susceptibility containing lanthanide element we have to predict. So they given all trivalent lanthanide elements, among all those which is suitable we have to predict. So everybody knows that Gadolinium is the compound, gadolinium is the element of lanthanide, where 4f7, 5d1, 6s2 will be the electron distribution in this. In f orbital, here it is half-filled. Half-filled orbital is highly symmetrical in nature. That's the reason why in gadolinium plus 3, it will exhibit isotropic magnetic susceptibility because of symmetrical nature, right? That's the reason why correct answer will be option number 2. Okay, magnetic susceptibility is nothing but how extent of degree of magnetization when we are applying external magnetic field. Okay, so that mainly depends upon the symmetrical distribution of electrons. Being it is the half-filled, exactly half-filled system, 4f7, F orbital capacity will be 14. So in that, gadolinium contains 4f7 electronic configuration. It is symmetric in nature. Because of symmetric nature, its magnetic susceptibility will be same in all possible directions, which is called isotropic magnetic susceptibility. That's why option number 2 is satisfying this statement. Next question, question number 24. The structure of calcium hexaboride. Calcium hexaboride is closer to that of. So calcium hexaboride exists in the form of cubic structure. So cubic structure is also given for cesium chloride. So here you can see calcium hexaboride. These lobes are indicating boride structures and remaining purple colored one is cesium. Okay, this calcium hexaboride exactly existing in cubic form, and here you can observe the cesium chloride structure. These green color lobes are chlorides and the cesium atoms are arranged in the regular cubic structure, right? So that's the reason why correct answer. So calcium hexaboride resembles the cesium chloride, being both are cubic in nature, right? And the next question, that is the correct order of carbon oxygen bond length is. All carbonyl complexes are given. Okay, so BF3 CO, Mn CO taken 6 whole positive, chromium CO whole taken 6, vanadium CO6 whole minus. So these are the various complexes are given. We have to predict carbon oxygen bond length. So all are carbonyl functional groups only, all are ligands only, but based on extent of back bonding, we can predict a CO bond length. Okay, so back bonding in the sense, whenever central metal is in contact with carbonyl, there is a formation of reverse. So in general, ligand is used to give the electrons to metal. So that is coordinate covalent bond. And metal to ligand also electrons will be transferred. That is called back donation. So if back bonding is more, the strength of bond between metal and carbon will be raised. So because of reversibility, what happens? Bond strength will be more. If bond strength will be more, they are having close proximity, and bond length, so in that case, bond length decreases. When metal carbon bond length decreases, what happens? In carbonyl functional group, you experience C triple bond O. This bond length becomes larger. So because metal carbon having lesser the bond length, consequently CO bond length will be raised. That is nothing but greater the back bonding, greater will be the carbon oxygen bond length, right? Now let us see, in order to get back bonding, so if metal having great electron density, so back bonding possibility will be very high. So whenever you observe all the complexes, vanadium complex having whole negative charge. So here vanadium is experiencing high electron density, so that back bonding will be more when compared to neutral. And positively charged complex having less electron density on the central metal, so that back bonding will be less. Okay, and followed by BF3CO. When we are taking borane which is in contact with CO, So back bonding is extremely low because BH3 complex is electron deficient. It is the Lewis acid in nature. That's why back bonding proximity is extremely low. So compared to all, BH3CO will have lesser back bonding or no back bonding tendency. That's why CO bond length will be kept at a least position. Lesser the back bonding, lesser the CO bond length. Higher the back bonding, higher will be the CO bond length. When electron density is more, where electron density is more? Vanadium complex having negative charge, that's why electron density is more, back bonding will be more in vanadium compared to neutral, compared to positive. And least for BH3CO, being boron is electron deficient, no back bonding will be observed here, right? So vanadium hexacarbonyl complex having highest back bonding, so that CO bond length will be larger. And the next, neutral chromium complex, and followed by manganese complex, and the least will be for BH3, borane, right? So the correct option will be option number 2 for question number 25. Now let us move on to question number 26 in CSIR June 2018. Among elements, zinc, gallium, germanium, and arsenic, the one with lowest first ionization energy. Ionization energy stands for amount of energy required to remove electron from gaseous atom, right? So how much amount of energy is required to remove the electron from the gaseous atom, that is called its ionization energy. Among all these elements, we have to predict. So the ionization energy order for all the elements. Okay, so lowest first ionization energy we have to predict. So zinc is the D block element and it is the D10 system. Okay, and the next is about D10 system. So everybody know that in the D10 system, zinc, mercury, cadmium will be there. They are having least ionization potentials. That's why this group. Okay, so this D10 system is having least ionization potential, and these three metals are called volatile metals because of low ionization enthalpies. So compared to zinc, gallium ionization potential is still less because of its electronic configuration only. When we see the electronic configuration of gallium, we observe 4s2, 3d10, 4p1 system. Okay, so when we remove the electron, it becomes completely filled, first thing. And the second is D10 electron system is possessing shielding effect. It will protect the it will shield the nuclear charge, so that nuclear charge will not influence this 4p orbital electron. It will be easily eliminated, so that we will get completely filled electronic configuration. Hence, gallium having more provision to lose this 4p1 electron from this outer shell. Hence, its first ionization potential is still less. Even though zinc having lesser ionization potential, but comparatively gallium ionization potential will be still less. The reason is completely filled 3d10 electronic configuration will possess shielding effect, and whenever electron lost from p orbital, it will be converted into completely filled, so that it will become more stable. Hence, least ionization potential is given for gallium. The correct answer is 3. And next is about the total degeneracy of ground state term of cobalt plus 2 high spin octahedral geometry is. Total degeneracy we have to predict. So in order to predict this total degeneracy, octahedral splitting pattern we have to know. Cobalt being it is the cobalt plus 2, it is the kind of D7 system, right? So in this D7 system, we have splitting of splitting of degenerated d orbitals into two levels. T2g will be lower energy level, EG will be higher energy level. D7, and it is the kind of high spin. High spin means how the filling of electrons are possible. So D7, right? 1, 2, 3. Now fourth electron enters into this Eg orbital. 5, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. After entering into Eg orbital, then only pairing of electrons are possible in case of high spin complex. If it is low spin, what happens? First, we have to fill all the electrons in this ground state. Now the remaining electron will enter into this Eg level. But being it is the high spin, first we have to give one electron in each, then only pairing is possible, right? So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in this high spin D7, you can experience 3 unpaired electrons. Let us apply spin multiplicity formula. In order to calculate spin multiplicity, 2s plus 1 will be used. Here, in order to get the spin, 3 unpaired electrons are there. 3 into 1 by 2, it will become 3 by 2. 2 into 3 by 2 plus 1. 2 get cancelled. 3 plus 1, it becomes 4. 2s plus 1 is given as 4. For this, L value is given as 3. L value is 3, nothing but F orbital. L is 0 is the S orbital. L is 1 is the P orbital. L is 2 is the D orbital. L is 3 will become F orbital, right? So here it is given as F orbital. Now J value. In order to get the J value, what is the formula? J value less than half filled L minus S, more than half filled L plus S values will be taken, right? But here that is not required. Only the requirement is total degeneracy we have to calculate. Total degeneracy, in order to calculate total degeneracy, nothing but total number of microstates, the formula will be 2s plus 1 into 2l plus 1. 2s plus 1 already we calculated, that value is 4. 2s plus 1 value is 4. 2l plus 1 is nothing but 2 into L value for F orbital, it will be 3. 2 into 3 plus 1. So 4 is the 2s plus 1 value. 2l plus value 2 into 3, 6 plus 1, it becomes 7. So total number of microstates will be 28. So total degeneracy will be 28 for cobalt plus 2 high spin complex. If it is low spin, its degeneracy will be varied. So high spin, based on its arrangement, so 2s plus value is given as 4. Consequently, it will become 28. For question number 27, correct option will be option number 3. Now let us move on to next question 28. We are taking this ferrocene complex where iron is surrounded by neta5, C5H5, 2 carbonyl groups are there and 1 methyl group is there. Now it is added with labeled carbonyl functional group. C13 labeled carbonyl group will be added. The final product will be inserted one, that is C double bond O CH3. It is a well-known reaction. So many times repeated question. Such a kind of questions are repeated so many times because here when this what ferrocene type of complex was taken in the mechanism, what happens? Initial compound first involved in migration of methyl group from metal to carbonyl. Okay, so 1-2 migration will be possible and it is shifted to carbonyl functional group. Here you can observe FeC double bond O CH3 and 1 vacant site will be generated. Now this vacant site is available for carbonyl functional group and we will get the final product. So this is the reaction mechanism, so that the intermediate will be iron CO, C double bond O CH3 with 1 vacant site. That is exactly matching with option number 4, where we have CO, C double bond O CH3. Option number 4 is satisfying this statement. For question number 28, so this Fe neta5 C5H5 CO, C double bond O CH3 is the intermediate. Now let us move on to question number 29. High spin complex of 3D metal ion. Metal has magnetic moment to 2.9 Bohr magnetons in octahedral, 4.1 Bohr magnetons in tetrahedral. So we have to predict what is the metal here. That may be cobalt plus 3, nickel plus 2, copper plus 2, or cobalt plus 2. Right? So in octahedral complex 2.9, tetrahedral complex 4.1 will be there. This is purely given for nickel plus 2 complex. Okay, so whenever nickel plus 2 was taken, so it is the D8 system. Even in octahedral and tetrahedral, 2 unpaired electrons will be present. In octahedral as well as tetrahedral, 2 unpaired electrons will be present, but only the difference is octahedral, it will be measured as only spin only magnetic moment. In tetrahedral, along with spin only, angular momentum is also considered. So angular momentum quantum number is also considered. That's why even though two odd electrons are there in octahedral, tetrahedral, but magnetic moment will be different in different complexes. Let us explain in detail about this nickel plus 2 complex. Nickel plus 2 in the octahedral, being it is the D8 system, what happens? T2G is a lower energy, EG will be the higher energy, right? So electron, whether it may be high spin or low spin, it is not mentioned actually, it is mentioned actually high spin complex. When high spin complex is there, how the distribution of electrons will be there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons are there. These 2 electrons are unpaired. When we apply the formula spin only magnetic moment, it will be under root n into n plus 2. So n stands for number of unpaired electrons. In this, 2 unpaired electrons are there. That's why under root 2 into 2 plus 2. Under root 2 into 4. Under root 8. Root 8 is exactly equals to 2.8 Bohr magnetons. 2.8 Bohr magnetons will be there. So this is about D8 system octahedral. Octahedral it is satisfied, right? Now let us move on to tetrahedral. In nickel plus 2 tetrahedral D8 system, here degeneracy will be lost and splitting pattern will be entirely reversed to octahedral. So in tetrahedral, ligand is approaching in between the axis. That's why non-axial orbital energy will be raised. T2 orbitals are moving up, EG orbital doubly degenerated, axial EG orbitals are coming down. So how the filling of electrons in high spin complex? One electron first into EG, second electron, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. 2 unpaired electrons are present in this T2G level. In case of T2G unpaired electrons, along with spin, angular momentum is also matters. That's why here the formula will be under root L into L plus 1 plus 4S into S plus 1. Here, in case of EG, unpaired electrons and EG, spin only magnetic moment will be calculated. In case of unpaired electrons in T2G, spin as well as angular momentum quantum number matters. That's why under root L into L plus 1 plus 4S into S plus 1. So under root L into L plus 1, L value being it is the d orbital, L value becomes 2, right? So here 2 unpaired electrons are present. S value becomes 1, half plus half. So here S value becomes 1. When we substitute all these values, what happens? Under root 2 into 2 plus 1 plus 4 into 1 plus 1 plus 1. So it will become under root 6 plus 8 is equal to 3.75. 3.75 exact almost is equal to 4. Hence, in tetrahedral complex, 4.1 Bohr magnetons will be given for this only nickel complex. Nickel will satisfy this statement. So question number 29, option number 2 is the right answer. let us move on to next question. Electronic spectra of potassium chromate and potassium manganate, the correct combination will be, right? So we have to predict the correct combination. So in this, everybody know that chromium and molybdenum. So molybdenate, sorry, potassium chromate, potassium molybdenate were taken, right? So here it is the kind of ligand to metal charge transfer transition will be there. Ligand to metal charge transfer transition. So everybody know is equal to H nu, which is also written as is equal to Hc by lambda. Means energy and wavelength are reciprocal to each other. So energy and wavelength means energy rises, wavelength decreases. Energy decreases, wavelength will be raised. Energy requirement of potassium chromate transition will be lesser when compared to potassium manganate. It is not manganate, it is a potassium molybdate. They given potassium molybdate. Okay, energy requirement for this ligand to metal charge transfer for potassium chromate will be lower when compared to potassium molybdate. So consequently, lambda max value of potassium chromate will be higher because energy requirement is less. That's why lambda max value will be raised, because there is a inverse proportionality between energy and wavelength. Now, lambda max of potassium chromate will be higher when compared to second complex. That means option number 3 is having, it is the kind of ligand to metal charge transfer transition where lambda max of A will be higher when compared to B, right? Option number 3 is the correct answer for question number 30. Next question will be removal of electron from nitric oxide molecule result in nitric oxide. In order to explain this, we have to draw molecular orbital diagram between nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen is a 7 electron system. Oxygen is a 8 electron system. Total molecular orbital electrons are 7 plus 18. 7 plus 8, 15 electrons will be there. In order to arrange 15 electrons, we have to go, one is bonding to electrons, anti-bonding to electrons. 2s2, 2s2 will be there. So let us assume left side is the atom of nitrogen, right side is the atom of oxygen. 1s orbital, 1s2, 1s2 will be there. So bonding, anti-bonding will be filled. So nitrogen 2s2, oxygen 2s2. So these electrons filled into molecular orbital sigma 2s, sigma star 2s orbital. When we take nitrogen, 2p 3 half filled configuration is there. Oxygen 2p 4 configuration is there. Total how many electrons in p orbital? 7 electrons will be there. In order to fill 7 electrons, sigma 2p 2 electrons bonding, pi 2p pi 2py, pi 2pz, these two are degenerated, hence we can fill 4 electrons in this. This is a HOMO, highest occupied molecular orbital here. Now, more 1 electron is there, that will be filled into sigma, pi star 2py and pi star 2pz, and sigma star 2p orbital will be vacant. 1 electron pi star 2py orbital. 1 electron is present in pi star 2py. This nitric oxide is paramagnetic in nature and EPR active because odd electron is there in this and it will become electron paramagnetic resonance spectroscopy active. But what they are asking in the question, removal of electron from nitric oxide. What we are doing, one of the electron is removed. That means we are removing electron from this antibonding orbital. So when this electron is removed, what happens? Number of electrons in bonding orbital will be raised. Whenever number of electrons in the bonding orbital raised, its bond order will be more, right? So what is the bond order? Half into electrons present in bonding minus electrons present in anti-bonding. Okay, so bond order is given as half into electrons present in bonding orbitals minus electrons present in anti-bonding orbital, right? How many electrons present in bonding orbital? 2 plus 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 electrons are there in bonding. Anti-bonding 2, 4, 5 electrons are present. When this electron removed, what happens? So bond order will be raised. So bond order will be raised. When bond order rises, bond order now shifted into, when electron removes bond order, NO bond order will become NO plus become, one electron removes, NO becomes NO plus. NO plus is isoelectronic with nitrogen molecule. That means bond order will be 3. When bond order increases, what happens? Stretching frequency. So when three bonds are present, in order to stretch the bond, we have to give extra energy. When 2 end of bonds are there, energy requirement is less. As the bond order increases, IR frequency, stretching frequency values also increases, right? So option number 1 is the correct statement for this one. And EPR active species, let us see whether it is valid or not. Okay, when one electron removed from the system, it becomes completely filled. No unpaired electrons will be there. In order to get EPR activity, electron paramagnetic. When it becomes paramagnetic, odd electrons containing one is called paramagnetic. But when electron removed, it becomes completely filled. All electrons are in paired state. That's why EPR inactive. It is not EPR active. So option number 2 is not satisfying. Electrons in HOMO being closer to oxygen than nitrogen. Yes, because among oxygen, nitrogen, oxygen is more electronegative species when compared to nitrogen. That's why. So here in this diagram, you can observe these electrons are somewhat closer to oxygen rather than in the central part. So somewhat distortion will be there because of electronegativity difference of nitrogen and oxygen. HOMO orbital is slightly migrated towards oxygen, right? So statement C is also right answer. Electrons of HOMO being closer to the nitrogen than oxygen. It is a wrong statement. Only option number A and C are satisfying. The correct answer will be option number 2. Question number 31. Option number 2 will be the right answer for this nitric oxide molecular orbital diagram. And the next question will be, consider the nature of solvent in the column 1 and the corresponding lambda max values for iodine in the various solvents given in the column 2. Okay, lambda max values are given. It is the kind of electronic spectroscopy. Match the column 1 with column 2. Whenever here one more term is also given, iodine under vapor state, lambda max value is given as 520 nanometers. Here, what happened? Iodine dissolved in solvent. Various solvents were used in order to dissolve that. That solvent may be non-donor. It is not giving any electrons. Weak donor. Some extent donation of electrons are there. Strong donor. Larger extent of electron donor donating tendency. Pi electron donor. It is giving pi electrons also. If electron donating tendency is not there, that's why influence on the iodine will not be there. As iodine lambda max, there is also no change. It will be again 520 only. When weak donor tendency is there, so weak donor tendency is there, lambda max value also very less. No donor tendency, no effect. Strong donor tendency, lambda max value increases. Okay. So what happens? Energy requirement will be less. So that high lambda max will be there for strong donor. When pi donor is there compared to sigma donor, pi donor having more electron mobility, that's why lambda max value will be still high. So non-donor, it will be given as 520. Weak donor means electron donation is not there. That's why. So the excitation requires high energy. So lower wavelength will be observed. That will be 360. So option number A1. Option number A1, B, 450 will be there. strong donor will be there. It will become 360. Pi electron donor, its value slightly rise, that will become 500. Option number 3 is satisfying this statement. Nature of solvent in the column number 1 and with column number 2. No donor atom, it will be 520. So from that only we can observe. So weak donor, the value residing 450 lambda max nanometers. Okay. And the next one, for the catalytic activity of copper and zinc containing enzyme superoxide dismutase. Superoxide dismutase is nothing but, so it used to disproportionate superoxide and can be converted. That superoxide now converted into molecular oxygen and hydrogen peroxide. So this is the enzyme which used to dissociate superoxide and is converted into molecular oxygen, and one more is hydrogen peroxide. That enzyme is called superoxide dismutase. It is composed of copper and zinc both. Both are essential for the catalytic activity of this enzyme. That's why copper, zinc are very essential in this superoxide dismutase. Okay, let us see what are the options given. Copper and zinc both are essential. It is the correct statement. Only copper essential, wrong. Zinc essential, wrong. Zinc may be replaced, also wrong. Both the copper and zinc are required for the superoxide dismutase enzyme activity. What it will do? It will convert O2 minus. Superoxide is nothing but O2 minus. This superoxide radical can be converted into molecular oxygen and hydrogen peroxide. So in this, copper, zinc both are essential species in order to operate this reaction. Okay, so superoxide dismutase, copper zinc superoxide dismutase is also known as erythrocyprin or hemocryptoprin or cytochyprin. Okay, these are the alternative names of copper zinc superoxide dismutase. It is the very essential in order to convert superoxide into molecular oxygen and hydrogen peroxide. The correct option will be 1. Next question is from spectroscopy. Mass spectrum of the compound shows an M+2 ion peak that is about 4% of M+. This indicates the compound has 1. So which compound is related with 4% abundance of M+2 peak? Okay, fluorine, sulfur, bromine and chlorine were given. Okay, abundance of fluorine 19 will be 100%. Okay, so fluorine exists in single form and it will be 100% intensity. That means only one peak will be appeared for this compound. So there is no other peaks. That's why it is not matching. So 4% peak is not possible. 4% abundance peak is not possible for this fluorine. Only one peak will be there. When we are taking sulfur abundance will be 94.991 isotope will be there, and another sulfur isotope will exist in 4%. Okay, so one of the isotope exists in 94 abundance, another isotope is in 4%. So this is matching actually with the problem which is given here. And let us move on to another. Bromine 79 isotope, 51% abundance will be there. Bromine 81 isotope, 49% abundance will be there. Almost we can say peak intensity will be 1:1. So exactly equal proportions. 2 peaks will be appeared and with equal intensity, right? When chlorine 35, chlorine 37 isotopes were taken, abundance of chlorine 35 will be almost 75, that means 76%. Chlorine 37 will be 24%. Now the ratio of these two isotopic forms will be 3:1. So 3:1 abundance will be there. So it is also not matching. 95:4. So this will be the This will be the suitable answer for this mass spectrum. M plus 2 peak 4% is given for sulfur. Let us represent this kind of abundance in graphical form. Fluorine, single peak is appeared. Only one signal will appear in the mass spectrum, that is with 100% abundancy. Hence, that is confirmed as a fluorine molecule. If two peaks with equal intensity 50:50 ratio, that is 1:1 ratio, that is taken as a bromine. 75:25. One peak appeared 75%, second peak 25%. You can say this is 3:1%. 3:1%. Now it is called a chlorine. Sulfur 95%:4%. This peak abundancy will be there. This is called a sulfur. So 4% abundance is given for sulfur. Option number 2 is the right answer for this mass spectrum. Now let us move on to next question. The major product formed in the following reaction. We are taking phenol with tetrabutyl, bulky alkyl functional groups which are presented are the position. Are the positions are blocked by this tetrabutyl functional group. Now it is treated with K3FeCN6. Okay, potassium hexacyanoferrate 3 will be given, and one more is molecular oxygen, right? So it is the kind of dimerization and oxidation type of reaction. Now let us see how the product formation is possible when it is taken in the presence of K3FeCN6. K3FeCN6 is the oxidizing agent, and it used to cleave this oxygen bond, and here oxygen radical will be generated, right? So when oxygen radical is generated, this can be resonance stabilized. This electron will be homolytically delocalized. Homolytic delocalization will be observed, and carbon radical can be formed. There is a formation of resonance stabilized structure. Now this carbon radical involved in dimerization with one more molecule of same kind. Initially the structure is in the form of benzenoid form. Now it is converted into the kind of quinonoid form, right? So here we have carbon free radical. Now it involved in dimerization like this. It is the form of dimerized molecule. This dimerized molecule, in the step 2, what they given, oxygen is treated. When molecular oxygen is added, it involved in atmospheric oxidation, so that hydrogens from these two centers will be removed. Minus of hydrogens, hydrogen radicals are possible, and we will experience complete quinonoid structure. Dimerized form of quinonoid structure will be formed. So benzenoid is converted into quinonoid by treating with these two reagents. One is K3FeCN6 and other is oxygen. The correct answer will be option number 1. Option number 1 will be the right answer for this question number 35. Let us move on to question number 36. The following compounds correct order of reactivity towards nucleophilic acyl substitution. So nucleophilic acyl substitution mainly depends upon 3 factors. One is electronegativity of the adjacent. If carbonyl, all these are the kind of acid derivatives. Acid chloride is the derivative of acid. Ester is the derivative of acid. Anhydride is the derivative of acid. Amide is also derivative of acid. What we have to check here, nucleophilic nature, nucleophilic reaction. So always carbonyl compounds involved in nucleophilic addition reactions. When nucleophilic addition is possible, here electrophilic nature should be more, right? In order to get high electrophilic nature at this carbonylic center, this halo group, this X group which is present directly attached to carbonyl should be more electronegative. When more electronegative nature is there, it withdraws the electrons from this carbonyl, so that electrophilic center generated at carbonyl, it conveniently involved in nucleophilic reaction. So its reactivity towards nucleophilic reagent will be more. The first condition is X group should contain high electronegativity. So when we see all, so high electronegativity is given for chlorine. High electronegativity is given for chlorine. And the second will be better leaving group. So greater the ability to depart, greater will be the reactivity. Then only greater will be the electropositivity on this carbonylic center. So departing nature of this X atom should be more. And next is about weaker the base. So this electron releasing ability should be less. Instead, electron seeking tendency should be more. So it should gain the electrons rather than releasing electrons into the center. If it release the electrons, what happens? Electron density on this carbonyl will be raised, so that nucleophilic attack will not be possible conveniently. These three are the important factors to predict its reactivity. When we take CH3CONH2, so what happens? It is the stronger base. It is the stronger base. When basic nature is more, what happens? Electrons present in the nitrogen is given to this carbonyl. So double bond character will be more. So when double bond character will be more among this nitrogen carbon, so electrophilic nature is less because it is gaining electrons from nitrogen. So here electrophilic nature is this, reactivity is least for this amide. Where you can find least amide? In option number 2 and option number 3. In both the cases, amide reactivity is least. Instead, halo group taken here, where high electronegativity will be there and it will seek the electrons. This bond between carbon and chlorine will be slightly polarized towards carbon, and carbonyl group experience electrophilic nature, being it is the weak base. Minus a inductive effect will be there on chlorofunctional group. That's why this acid halide having highest reactivity. Where you can find second, acetamide, acid halide having highest reactivity. Here option number 3, methyl acetate given. So this is not correct. Option number 3 is not correct. Only satisfying statement will be acetamide will be least, methyl acetate next. That means ester will be next, anhydride will be next, highest will be given for acid chloride. Right? The correct order is mentioned here. RC double bond NH2 will be least, methyl acetate will be second, acetic anhydride will be next one, then acetyl chloride, acid chloride will be highest, where electronegativity of chlorine is more, and the second is basic nature of chlorine is less, and third is departing nature of chlorine is more, electrophilic nature generated and the carbonyl group is more. That's why nucleophilic attack is more favorable. So that right answer will be option number 2 for question number 36. And the next question is from organic chemistry. The major product formed in the following reaction. This is indole moiety, bicyclic ring system. One is 6-membered, in either 5-membered ring system is there. It is treated with lithium liquid ammonia dissolved in methanol. It is a kind of reduction and named after Birch. It is the 1,4 reduction called Birch reduction. Here we have two possibilities: reduction of 6-membered ring, reduction of 5-membered ring. This mainly depends upon electron density of these two aromatic rings. It is the 6-membered 6-pi electron system. It is 5-membered 6-pi electron system. Means 6 electrons delocalized in 6 atoms, 6 electrons delocalized among 5 atoms. Where electron density is more, this 5-membered ring having more electron density. Hence we can see this is a pi excessive ring, this is a pi deficient ring comparatively. Right. So here lithium liquid ammonia having tendency to release electrons. In order to gain electrons, electron density should be less. 5-membered ring is rich. 6-membered ring is somewhat deficient. That's why selectively lithium liquid ammonia reacts with 6-membered rather than 5-membered ring. Hence, 1,4 addition is possible. So always Birch reduction is selective for 1,4 hydrogen addition. So let us assume this is the first carbon, second, third, fourth. First carbon and fourth carbon will be added with hydrogens as well as electrons, right? So that's why this group, this ring will be reduced rather than this chiral ring. So let us see the mechanism. First, these two double bonds will be cleaved homolytically, being it is the free radical mechanism. Here two odd electrons are generated, and here new double bond formation is possible. Now, two electrons are released from this solvated electron. These are called solvated electrons. Lithium liquid ammonia. Lithium when dissolved in liquid ammonia, each lithium will give one electron. So here two lithiums are required, so that two electrons released. These radicals now converted into dianion species, 1,4-dianion. It is the 1,4-di radical, and after seeking electrons from lithium liquid ammonia, this is converted into 1,4-dianion. Now it accept the proton from methanol. It is the protic solvent, and it is converted into what? H will be added at this 1,4 position, so that here it is converted into this kind of compound, which is satisfying the statement. Option number 4. This Birch reduction selectively given for reduction of 6-membered rather than 5-membered. So option number 4 is the right answer. Now let us move on to question number 38. When this benzene having CH2O, CH2, C double bond CH3, CH3 treated with N-butyl lithium is a strong base. This is applied at -80 degrees, and one more reagent is ammonium chloride. Now let us see what will be the formed product in this. Being so N-butyl lithium strong base, it will abstract the proton. Here two possibilities we have. One is benzylic carbon, second is allylic carbon. Okay, so butyl lithium will accept electron, will accept the electron, and there is a formation of, electron. H plus will be removed from the center, so that carbene ion will be generated. Here we will get benzyl carbene, here allyl carbene will be generated. But the stability of this one will be more, so selectively what happens? H plus will be abstracted from this benzylic carbon only, so that we will gain this carbon negative charge at this position only, and this involved in 2,3 sigma tropic shift. 2,3 sigma tropic shift is possible. How it is possible? This negative charge involved in attachment, because it is the system having cyclization type of phenomenon. This negative charge is bonded to carbon, because here carbocation is more stable, being it is a tertiary carbon, so it's selectively attached to this branched carbon only rather than the secondary carbon, right? So whenever it is added here, this bond is shifted toward this side, and this bond is shifted here, making of new carbon-carbon bond. Here breaking of old carbon-oxygen bond is possible. Now, consequently, we will get new carbon-carbon bond with 2-methyl, and here we have a double bond. Here O minus will be generated. Further, it will be protonated. We will get OH. This will be the final product. Terminal center, what should we have? Here, double bond should be there. Here, terminal center double bond is not there. It is not a right answer. And here terminal center double bond is there. There is a possibility terminal center double bond is not there. Aldehyde may not be generated in this reaction. Only option number 2 is satisfying the statement. Here, the reaction possible in this will be generation of carbene ion and cyclization type of reaction, followed by 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement is possible, so that the product will be option number 2. The next question is also from organic chemistry. The major product formed in the following reaction. Here we have different possibilities like OH, CH2 double bond. Here also having CH2, CH2OH, double bond is attached with one oxygen, one methyl. MnO2 is a weak oxidizing agent. It is the mild oxidizing agent and it is selective for benzylic and allylic oxidation. Okay, here three possibilities we have. One is OH functional group, another is double bond, another is another OH functional group. Three centers are subjected to oxidation. But this MnO2 is selective for, this MnO2 only selective for allylic and benzylic oxidation. Here, this double bond CH2OH, this OH is considered as a allylic, but this OH is not allylic OH functional group. That's why selective oxidation takes place in this direction. Here you will experience aldehydic functional group. Aldehyde group is generated and it involved in intramolecular cyclization. The molecule involved in intramolecular cyclization. Oxygen having lone pair of electrons will be bonded to this carbonylic center. Then we will get six-membered ring. Six-membered ring, and this aldehyde consequently converted into hydroxy. Again, another molecule of MnO2 will be added. So OH, again you can see here allylic OH is there. This allylic OH is further oxidized so that we will get another carbonyl functional group. This is a cyclic lactone. Cyclic lactone will be generated here. Where you can find this cyclic lactone? O, C double bond will be there, but what is the position? 1, 2, 3. Third carbon double bond, fourth carbon methyl. 1, 2, 3. Third carbon double bond is not there. Here cyclization is not there. It may not be correct. 1, 2, 3. Third carbon double bond, fourth carbon methyl. Option number 3 is satisfying this problem. Okay. So only the thing we have to know is manganese dioxide is selective for allylic oxidation. Only allylic hydroxy and benzylic hydroxy will be oxidized by this. Here 2 moles of manganese dioxide is required. So here 2-step oxidation possible and ring closure cyclic lactone will be generated. Option number 3 is the right answer for this one. And the next one is this triple bonded compound with OH group at this position, and it is treated with lithium aluminum hydride, sodium methoxide dissolved in THF tetrahydrofuran. It is the solvent. Then iodine will be added here. So 2 reagents, one is reduction, second is addition of iodine. Now let us see how it will be possible. First, we are taking this triple bond CH2OH under controlled reduction conditions. What happens? Already it is in reduced form only, so that this functional group will not be influenced. Only triple bond is selectively reduced into double bond because we are applying controlled reduction process. Now it is added with iodine. When iodine is added, what is the stereochemistry? Iodine and alkyl both are in the same direction. So Z isomer is the preferable product in this. Means iodo and this alkyl group are in the same orientation. Okay. So geometry will be Z isomer formation. So Z isomer, where we can find Z isomer here? Iodo and methyl, alkyl are in the same position. So it is a Z isomer. So this is not, this is E isomer. This is reverse. What happened? So iodo group will be selectively added at this carbon, not near to this OH functional group. So because of stereochemistry, it will be attached to this, which carbon? 1, 2, so 1, 2, third carbon rather than second carbon. Option number 1 is satisfying this statement. And the next problem, number of signals observed in C13 NMR spectrum of following compound. Okay, so it is the bicyclic system having 2 carbonyl functional groups. So we have to predict C13 NMR. So number of signals in the C13 mainly depends upon nature of carbon atoms. If identical carbons are there, they are used to give single peak. So different environment carbons are there, they are used to give different peaks. Okay. So when we are taking this molecule, let us insert imaginary plane in this direction. Imaginary plane was placed. These two carbons becomes mirror images. These two carbons becomes identical, so that these two carbons are considered as one set only. Now these two carbons also mirror images having equal environment. So that's the reason why these two carbons are indicated as second set. So this carbon is not having any mirror image this side. So this carbon is different. So third, this carbon also not having mirror image, because this side in either groups are there, here somewhat other environment is there. So different carbon. Here we have this bridgehead carbon is nowhere related with any other. So this is the fifth type. And this another bridgehead carbon is of sixth type. Total 6 set of carbon atoms are present. So the correct answer will be option number 6. So because these two carbons and these two carbons are identical, actually total 8 carbons are there in the bicyclic system, but 2 set of carbons are identical. That's why total possible carbon atoms will be 6 types. For question number 41, option number 3 is the right answer. Now, let us move on to question number 42. The structure of product formed in the reaction amino acid with ninhydrin. Ninhydrin is the selective reagent for identification of amino acids. Whenever ninhydrin is treated with amino acid, so what happened? That involved in dimerization type of reaction. So ninhydrin is the kind of the compound represented here. It is a strong oxidizing agent and having tendency to bind with amino acid by condensation process. This is a kind of condensation reaction, and added with one more molecule of ninhydrin, and final product will be dimerized one. It is exactly satisfying option number 1, where we have double bond OH, it is the enolic form, and here we have N double bond. So imine type of compound is there, and double bond O will be there. Option number 1 is the correct answer for this ninhydrin. Ninhydrin is selective for amino acid identification. And the next question, the correct answer of rate of solvolysis of 80% ethanol. Solvolysis in the sense, it is treated with water so that bromo group now replaced with hydroxy. Okay. If you observe all the compounds, all are the kind of tertiary alkyl halides. Whenever tertiary alkyl halides subjected to solvolysis, they selectively involved in SN1 type of reaction. The reaction is SN1 type. So in all the cases, you can experience there is a formation of carbocation in step 1, because in SN1 step 1 will be dissociation of alkyl halide and formation of carbocation. Among all the carbocations given, this highly condensed system will have high stability. Here the stability will be more, being electron hyperconjugation structure will be more for this compound rather than remaining 2 compounds. That's why. So this option number C is having more stability, followed by option number A, followed by option number B. So that's the reason why same order of reactivity will be there. Order of reactivity will be there towards the solvolysis. Option number C having more reactivity, followed by A, followed by B, followed by A. Okay, so option number C followed by B followed by A will be there. So correct answer will be option number C. This is mainly depends upon carbocation stability being it is the SN1 type of mechanism. And the next IUPAC name, if such a kind of structures will be there, we have to give separate naming in accordance with International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, right? So here, how can we go? So there are certain guidelines in order to give the naming for such a tricyclic systems. Okay, so here you can observe this is a one 3-membered ring. Here another 3-membered ring. This is the third 3-membered ring. 3-membered rings are there. That's why it is the kind of tricyclo. Okay, so 3-membered ring structure is called a tricyclo molecule. And here you can observe each ring having one carbon. Here also one carbon, here also one carbon. And when you observe another linkage between two carbon atoms, there is no any connecting carbon. Bridgehead carbon is not there. That's why here in this you can say 1 comma 1 comma 1 comma 0, right? So how can we assign? So large number of carbons when present, that will come first. But in all systems, we have one carbon only as a bridging one. So it is taken as 1, 1, 1. In between 0 will be there. That's why 1 comma 1 comma 0. Here you can see 1 comma 1 comma 0. Here also 1 comma 1 comma 0 1. This is not right, because the order will be like this only. After getting all this, then only we have to go for bridging one. Right? Option number 2 is not right answer. 1 comma 1 comma 1 0, it is possible. 1 comma 1 comma 1 0, it is also possible. And let us count number of carbons in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbons are there, hence it is a kind of pentane molecule. So in all the options, pentane is given. So here, how many possibilities we got? Option number 1 is possible, option number 3 is possible, option number 4 is possible. In order to identify which is exact answer, we have to go with numbering of the system. So numbering will be started from bridging carbon first. This bridging carbon will get number 1, and this corner will be number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So 0 will be there. 0 will be there in between 1 comma 3. Where 0 is there? 1 comma 3, 0 is there. So that's why, how can we mention? It is the kind of tricyclic system. That's why tricyclo. After giving tricyclo, 1 comma 1 comma 1 0. 1 comma 1 comma 1 0. Now, so this 0 will be present between 1 and 3. So that is mentioned here. 0 is present between 1 and 3. And it is the entire system of 5 carbons. Hence, it is a kind of pentane. So option number 4 is exactly satisfying the nomenclature of this tricyclic system, right? So tricyclo 1 comma 1 comma 1 0 1 3 pentane is the right answer. Now let us move on to this question number 45. Again, it is the part of organic chemistry, aromatic compounds. Okay, so finding aromaticity of the compound. Here, two systems were given, where first system having 8-membered ring with 6 pi electrons. So 8-membered ring is there, but it is the single ring only. Okay, 6 pi electrons are present, and these two carbons are carbocations only. Means these two carbons are sp2 hybridized. So obviously, double bonded carbons always sp2 hybridized. Carbocation is also kind of sp2 hybridized. That's why all carbons are in the single plane. All carbons are in single plane. That is the first condition. And the second is 6 pi electrons, nothing but it is obeying Huckel rule, nothing but 4n plus 2 pi electron system. That is the second rule. Based on this, we can identify this compound is a, and it is the cyclic system. This compound is a aromatic compound. Okay, Huckel rule is obeyed by this compound A, so it is the aromatic. Both A, B are aromatic, don't know. A is aromatic, correct. B is anti-aromatic, so we have to find B anti-aromatic or not. A is non-aromatic, wrong, because A is aromatic. A is aromatic is right. B is homoaromatic. We have to find out. Let us discuss about compound B, where 7-membered system is there. In the 7-membered system, we have oxygen, and here what 3 pi bonds are there. So here let us count the number of pi electrons in this. 2 plus 2, 4 plus 2, 6 plus 2. These 2 electrons also contributed inside. It is a kind of 8 pi electron system. It is a kind of 8 pi electron system, and there is no alternative pi bond arrangement. So alternative pi bond arrangement is also missing. That's why it is not obeying Huckel rule. And 8 pi electron system, it is considered as a anti-aromatic system. A is aromatic, B is anti-aromatic. So option number 2 is the right answer for question number 45. And this is about what? Conformers of cyclobutane. It is also part of organic chemistry. It is a kind of stereochemistry. Okay, conformational isomerism. The correct statement about the following compounds. Both are bicyclic systems. 2 rings are 6-membered cyclohexane rings are there, and both are connected. It is the kind of condensed system. And at this bridgehead centers, we have 2 methyl groups, and here also bridgehead centers 2 methyl groups are there. These 2 methyl groups are exactly anti with respect to each other. In this, Gaussian interactions will be there. And the first structure is represented as trans arrangement. Second structure is represented as cis arrangement. Now, when we see the compound number 1 and compound number 2, so it is a trans decalin, it is a kind of cis decalin. Trans decalin, so the Gaussian interactions will not be there, and energy is taken as a minimum. Lesser the energy, greater the stability. Whenever cis decalin was taken, here 3 Gaussian interactions, methyl, 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 hydrogen Gaussian interactions will be appeared. Each Gaussian interaction contribute 0.9 kilocalories of energy. So here total 3 Gaussian interactions, that's why 0.9 into 3, 2.7 kilocalories energy will be there. So that's why compared to trans, Gaussian means a cis arrangement will have less stability. A is more stable than B is the right statement, because here steric factors are extremely minimized, energy is less, that's why high stability will be there. 2 bulky groups are far apart to each other. So question number 46, option number 1 is the right answer. Okay. And the next question is question number 47. In the pure Raman rotational spectrum of oxygen 16, whose electronic ground state will be sigma 3 plus sigma 3 minus G. Transition 2 are from. Okay. So this is given in Raman rotational spectrum. In Raman rotational spectrum, for this oxygen molecule, it is given as negative parity. So here parity of this will be given as negative sigma 3G. So Gerard configuration is there, 3 will be there, and negative parity will be there. For the system, all rotational levels, in all rotational levels, J values in the even numbers are missing. Even J values are missing here. Okay. Only 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7 kind of transitions are possible. 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. Such kind of even transitions are missing. So even J values are missing in case of pure rotational, pure Raman rotational spectrum, right? The correct option will be option number 1. Even J values are missing in case of pure Raman rotational spectrum of oxygen 16, right? Now, let us move on to next question. Question number 48. Elementary steps of reactions as follows. A plus B gives rise to 2C. 2C gives rise to D, right? So in this case, if steady state approximation is applicable to C, rate of product formation of the reaction. Okay. So when we apply steady state approximation, rate of product formation, we have to find out. Okay. So here, what is given? A plus B gives rise to 2C. Means rate of formation of C is equal to rate of loss of A and B. When A, B get consumed, then formation of C is possible. That is nothing but K1 A concentration and B concentration is equal to K inverse C square. Okay. So means K1 A B is equal to K inverse C square. So now C, concentration of C product is given as K1 into K inverse whole to the power half, A power half, B power half. What we are doing? We are halving entire concentrations. Okay. So now it is taken as rate is equal to K2 C square. Rate is equal to K2 C square. For the second step, rate is equal to K2 C square. Then here let us substitute the C value here. Concentration C value is given here, that we can substitute here. Rate is equal to K2 into K1 by K inverse whole to the power half. A whole to the power half, B whole to the power half, whole taken twice. Okay. So whole to the power 2 will be taken. So here whatever powers half are there, they get converted into 1. Because whole to the power 2 is there. Now rate is equal to K1 into K2 by K inverse A into B, right? So the correct answer will be proportional to AB, because K1 into K2 by K inverse, all are constants only. When we remove constant, what happens? Rate is proportional to AB. So option number 1 is satisfying this statement, right? So this is about question number 48. Let us move on to question number 49. The term symbol from the ground state boron is, boron electronic configuration is 1s2 2s2 2p2. When molecule of boron formed, sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, less than half filled, first electron enters into pi 2px1, pi 2py1. This is about molecular orbital electronic configuration, right? So whenever spin multiplicity was taken, what is the formula? 2s plus 1. 2s plus 1 formula will be used. Here unpaired electrons are 2. Half plus half, it becomes 1. 2 into 1 plus 1, it becomes 3. 2s plus spin multiplicity value is given as 3. Okay. If lambda is equal to 0, that is given as sigma. Lambda is equal to 1 given as pi. 2 is given as delta. 4 is given as phi. Right? So here lambda value is 0 for this pi 2px1, pi 2py1 system. Right? So because px, py, so 2 electrons are present in the outer shell. So -1 plus 1, it get cancelled and becomes 0. If lambda is 0, it is given as sigma. Lambda is 0, it is given as sigma. Right? So sigma is given to us. The valency electrons are present in 2 pi orbitals. If sigma bonding orbital is given, it is called gerane. Sigma anti-bonding is called ungerane. Pi bonding is called ungerane. Pi anti-bonding is called gerane. Here, ungerade orbital 1 electron, ungerade orbital 1 electron. That's why it is converted into ungerade, it get converted into gerade. So this subscript becomes gerade, right? And what is the 2s plus 1 value? 2s plus 1 value is given as spin multiplicity value is given as 3. 3 sigma g. Okay. So here negative parity is given for this one. Negative parity will be given for this one boron, because electrons are present in pi orbital. If they are present in sigma orbital, positive parity. If electrons present in pi orbitals, negative parity will be given. So all are satisfied with option number 3. So 3 sigma G minus, it will be option number 3 for question number 49. And the next question will be question number 50. A Gaussian distribution has a functional form fx is equal to 2 by under root 2a square pi e to the power minus x minus b whole square by 2a square. The variance of such a distribution is, the variance of such a distribution is, always variance in the Gaussian distribution law is given by power of denominator. Powered integer of denominator is taken as the variance. Here, this exponential, this is the exponential value, e to the power minus x minus b whole square by 2a square. Power of exponential is taken as the variance. The power of exponential is a square. So option number 2 is the right answer for this question number 50. And question number 51, the change in entropy for reversible adiabatic process. Entropy is nothing but measure of randomness. Measure of disorderness is called entropy, right? So any reversible reaction, entropy becomes a 0. And even we are taking adiabatic. Adiabatic is nothing but no heat loss and no heat gain will be there. External heat is not added, internal heat is not lost. That's the reason why entropy change becomes a 0. That's why option number 3 is the right answer for question number 51. And the next question, the standard cell potential for the reaction zinc plus copper plus 2 gives rise to Zn plus 2 and a copper metal is given as plus 1.1 electron volts. Volts only. The Gibbs free energy change during the reaction. It is the simplest galvanic system made up of zinc and copper generating 1.1 volts of EMF, right? During this reaction, what they are asking? Gibbs free energy we have to find out. The simplest formula for Gibbs free energy calculation is delta G is equal to minus NFE. N stands for number of electrons transferred in the reaction. F is the Faraday. It is the constant. Value is given as 96,500 coulombs per mole. E is the electrode potential that generated is plus 1.1. Minus 2 into 96,500 into 1.1. It becomes minus 212 kilojoules per mole. Minus 212 kilojoules per mole are given in third option. Okay, so it is minus 212. 21.2 is wrong. Plus 212 is wrong. Minus 212 kilojoules per mole. Option number 3 is the right answer for question number 52. Next question. If the unit of rate constant of a reaction is liter cube, mole inverse cube, centimeter second inverse, the order of the reaction will be. It's a very simple prediction. So how can we predict? By using the empirical formula, it is possible to predict. For any order of the reaction, liter may be given as n minus 1, mole is given as 1 minus n, second inverse will be there, right? So n minus n stands for rate of the reaction. If rate of the reaction is 3, if rate of the reaction is 3, L becomes 3 minus 1 means L square. It becomes mole to the power 1 minus 3 means a minus 2, S inverse. So in that way, we can substitute and the order of the reaction will be predicted. Now, if the unit of rate constant, L cube, mole inverse 3 and second inverse. L cube in the sense, n minus 1 value is 3. N minus 1 value is 3 is nothing but n is equal to 4. Means order of the reaction is 4. It is the fourth order reaction. Question number 53, option number 4 is the right answer. And question number 54, the lowest energy state of 1s1, 2s1 electronic configuration according to Hund's rule. Okay, so here we have to find out this electronic configuration. Microstates will be calculated. So its electronic configuration structure will be predicted. Lowest energy state we have to predict. Okay, so 1s1, 2s1, it is the electronic configuration. In order to calculate spin multiplicity, 2s plus 1 formula will be applied. So 2 electrons are there which are unpaired. That's why 2 into half plus 1, it will become 2 plus 1. Spin multiplicity is given as 3. Now, for s orbital, L value is 0. Here 0, here 0. 0 plus 0, it becomes 0. L value will be 0. J value for less than half filled is given as L minus S. L minus S will be given. L minus S is nothing but L value is 0. S value is 3. S value is half because it is half filled. So 0 minus 1, it will become 1 only because it is in a modular state. That's why plus 1 minus 1 will not be given. Now L to the power 2s plus 1 and subscript will be J, right? So this is a representation of the energy state. Now S is given as, L is given as S because if L value is 0, S orbital it is, right? 2s plus 1 is given as 3. Just now we calculated 2s plus 1 is a 3. So J value is given as 1. 3s1 is the lowest energy state of this 1s1, 2s1 electronic configuration. And the next question, question number 55, a commutator X cap with Hamiltonian H cap, X H cap is, okay. So Hermitian operator AB when commuted, now AB is given as 0. Concentration of AB is given as 0. Okay, Hermitian operators, if both are commuted now, so its value is taken as 0. In case of this one, position and potential energy, kinetic energy of this Hermitian operator were taken in this Hamiltonian operators, right? So in this Hermitian operator, so Hermitian operators, we have two parameters. One is position, second is Hamiltonian. Okay, position and Hamiltonian both are given. These both are commuted. So when both are commuted, the value of X and H becomes 0. That's why for question number 55, option number 1 is the right answer, right? So that is 0 because both are commuted. So as per this Hermitian operator, so AB is equal to 0. This position and Hamiltonian operator are called Hermitian operators and both are commuted. Hence we can say its value is taken as 0. Question number 56, it is the kind of colligative property. This is the problem given from colligative property. A 5 grams per liter polymer solution is prepared with the polymer whose molar mass is 25 kilograms. The osmotic pressure of the solution at 25 degrees centigrade is, okay. So here the problem is from colligative property and the osmotic pressure. The formula for osmotic pressure will be pi V is equal to nRT. So osmotic pressure we have to calculate. That's why pi is equal to N by V RT, where N is nothing but number of moles. Number of moles nothing but weight by gram molecular weight. It is given as weight by gram molecular weight by volume. Here 5 gram per liter. That means volume becomes 1 liter, right? V is equal to 1 liter. R value is given as 8.314. It is converted into liter atmosphere mole inverse, that is 0.082. T is the Kelvin temperature. So here 25 degrees are given. 25 plus 273, it becomes 298 Kelvin, right? So when we substitute all these values in this equation, pi is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Why it will be like this? Number of moles is equal to weight. How much weight is given? 5 grams by gram molecular weight. What is the gram molecular weight? Molar mass is given as 25 kg. So in order to convert kg into grams, 25 multiplied with 1000. So 5 by 25,000 is nothing but 2 into 10 to the power of minus 4. This is about number of moles by what is the volume? 1. R is 0.0813. Temperature is 298. It is 0.0048. Almost is equal to 0.005 atmosphere. Right? So option number 3 is satisfying this statement. Option number 3 is satisfying. Right? Now let us move on to question number 57. If all the lattice points of face-centered cubic structure are occupied by uniform hard spheres that touch each other, the fraction of volume occupied is, what they are given? Face-centered cubic crystal structure is given. In that, uniform hard spheres that are touching each other. So all the spheres are touching each other. In that case, length, when we are considering length in this direction, that is given as a under root 2. And when we calculate the radius, it will be 4r. Radius of the system for FCC will be 4r. A under root 2 is equal to 4r. R is equal to a under root 2 by 4. A under root 2 by 4. Now, FCC lattice contributes 4 atoms per the unit cell. For face-centered cubic, 4 atoms will be contributed for unit cell. Now it will become 4 into 4 by 3 pi r cube by a cube. This will be the empirical formula. In that, number of atoms contributed are 4. Now it will be concised into under root 2 pi by 6. Option number 1 is satisfying this. Question number 57. That's why pi under root 2 by 6 is the right answer. Now, let us move on to question number 58. Origin of colligative properties of dilute solutions. Okay, colligative properties are mainly depends upon entropy of mixing. Okay, entropy of mixing. Whenever we are mixing solutions, their entropy is decreased always, because measure of randomness decreased whenever solutions get associated. That's why colligative properties mainly originated from this entropy of mixing. Option number 4 is the right answer for question number 58. The graph that represents Longmuir absorption isotherm. Longmuir absorption isotherm is given as theta is equal to Kp by 1 plus Kp. This is the empirical formula, derived formula for this Longmuir absorption isotherm. Whenever graph is plotted between pressure and volume, here the graph will be represented like this, which is given in the option number 4. The question number 57, option number 4 is the right answer. And the next is about correct match of coenzyme in column A with their column B. Here, 3 options are given and we have to map with their property. NADH, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide hydride was given. So NADH, here you can observe hydrogen is there. So within the molecule only it is clearly mentioned. It is having free hydrogen for donation. Hence it is a strong reducing agent. So it is involved in reduction process, because nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide always it is in dynamic equilibrium with NAD+. So it is having free hydrogens for donation. That's why it is a kind of strong reducing agent, right? So it is the typical representation of dynamic equilibrium between NAD+ and NADH. Okay, redox kind of reaction. Then when you observe FAD, second option will be FAD. FAD is the flavin adenine dinucleotide. FAD is flavin adenine dinucleotide. Flavin adenine dinucleotide, when we observe, it is seeking electrons and is converted into FADH2. When it is taking electrons, itself reduced. When itself reduced, it is behaving like a strong oxidizing agent. So FAD is mostly used for the purpose of oxidation. Next is about coenzyme ASH. Coenzyme ASH is a important material in TCA cycle, and it is very essential for acyl group transfer. So acetyl group can be transferred by using this coenzyme ASH. Here is the structure of coenzyme ASH, your terminal center having SH functional group, and it is the best example for nucleotide. Nucleotide, nothing but purine base is present, carbohydrate sugar moiety will be there, and the phosphate will be there. When three moieties are present, it is called a nucleotide, and this is having terminal SH functional group, and it's very essential in TCA cycle. And the main purpose of this coenzyme ASH will be acyl group transfer. It used to migrate acetyl functional group. By this, we successfully completed all 60 questions of CSIR NET June 2018 Part B question paper with complete answers. Hope this session will be very much helpful for your preparation. Thank you. Thank you very much for your patience listening. Thanks a lot.